Today we speak about shamanic journeys, which are one of the more important elements in shamanism, because they are the starting point and constant way of working in the healing process that once approached is just become the beginning of a vast world of discovery and connection with a non-ordinary reality of the allies, the spirits, and a beautiful way to find answers to a lot of imbalances from an energetic point of view, to find answers, to find connections with ancestors. So there are really a lot of things that can be achieved in a shamanic journey. One of the ways that has been renamed in the Western society is also shamanic meditation. Because in a kind of way you enter a meditative state, which is not a state of hypnosis or trance, because you are always awakened, but you are in a deeper connection with other realities, with the other worlds, in the way they are called. So the shamanic journey is a way to communicate and travel, because of course it's called journeys, to different worlds. So in shamanism we have to say that in the cosmic beliefs there is the consideration of the existence of three realities, three worlds. One is the lower world, which has nothing to do with the hell, with the underworld. It's the world of nature, of animals, specifically power animals that are among the allies that help us to find the answers and to find the connections with our instincts, with the deepest part of our sixth sense, of our intuition, and find the answers that are always within our hearts, so are always within ourselves. So a journey into the lower world would be done normally as the beginning point, because it's the easiest way to have access. Then we have the middle world, which is the world that we would use to travel to travel like in a physical reality. So it's the world where we are right now, and we would use that journey to find objects that we have lost for practical reasons or for distant healing as well. Then we have the upper world, which is normally identified with the sky, where you could find angels, guides with the human forms, guides, masters, ancestors, other beings that of course could be identified in that hemisphere too. And normally the way to realize a shamanic journey is done with two tools from a shamanic point of view. So it's using a rattle at the beginning just to drive the attention back here to the present moment, and the rattle is something that takes the energy up, so it just reshift the focus here after the busyness of the mind, and especially when we are lying down, our mind is still going, so there is always a moment when we need to shift and be present in the body before then starting the journey using the drum, which is the main character, the main element in the drum. Each shaman or shamanic practitioners would have their specific and very personal way of drumming. So there is not one way. There might be some ways of starting and finishes. We are pretty much the same. Then of course the number of beats that you are going to use again is something personal, or that you might have learned and familiarized with from someone else. And then once you've done that, it's very good always to stick with that technique. And then it's a constant repetition of beats throughout the journey. We are now in this video not explaining exactly how to journey, because this is something that would require a specific time and focus, and this is something that I do during my events every month, the shamanic circles, or also the introduction days to shamanism, the year course in the school, the Featherstones healing course, and all the other courses that I'm running in the Edinburgh School of Shamanism that are also available online. So that specific way of explaining how to journey would happen when we meet, either virtually or in person. What is important in each shamanic journey is that we have an intention. So there is an intent to clarify at the beginning why we are journeying, what answer are we searching for, because it has to be very specific. And we also need to be very specific which ally do we want to reach, so who is going to give us the answer. But then at the same time we need to be open, because it might be that we require the answer from an ally, and then there may be another one that comes on board in that specific moment, and being the one that is providing us some details, or simply letting us know that we know the answer, which is many times what comes out. The answer is already within ourselves. Going on a shamanic journey has also an amazing effect on the body, because there is a shift in our brain that happens. Is the same thing that happens when we are practicing a meditation or when we are going to sleep, where actually the waves of our brain are shifting from the busyness and the active waves that are the beta waves to the alpha waves, which are the waves when our mind is calm, is focused, is concentrating on the inner world, so inside instead of outside. And so in that level of calmness we are able more to listen, because there is less busyness coming from the mind. Then the drum is also able to, exactly as a consequence, to reduce the stress, so to calm down the body, and also to develop a sense of more peacefulness and also happiness, so to facilitate our way of being more attractive towards positive thoughts, towards actions and habits that are bringing positive effects in our life. And it has also the beautiful effect on reducing the physical pain in the body, because it produces the production of endorphins, which are the brain chemicals that reduce the perceptions of the pain that the brain is normally having. So it would be like the same effect that we would get by getting codeine or morphine, which highly reduce the perception of the grief in general. It has also a beautiful effect on the cardiovascular system, again, because it's calming down. And in general, there have been studies as well that have shown that it helps the immune systems, and specifically in 2001 there were scientific studies that were proving that also the tumoral cells were influenced by receiving the beautiful effect of the drums. And so by attending, by just also listening to the beating of a drum, so to this repetition, because it's the constant repetition of the sound, we are able to produce and develop a sensation of self-awareness, because it's the development of the self, which is not connected with the ego, which is not connecting with the mind, but is connected with the soul, because it's a work that is soul-based, that is a work that is connected with the spiritual world, so with the answers that are coming from sources that are our allies, that are just there to help us and communicate the answers through images, because the first way the spirits communicate their answers and are able to provide help to us is through images, because it's the easiest way. So in the images there are the answers already contained. That's why we always need to pay attention to the images around us. That's why lots of people get attracted by numbers and pay attention to the fact that we always see the image of 1111, 2222, or the repetition of mirror numbers. I mean, without then going into the detail, because I'm also a numerologist, that they would be called master's number, but according to my tradition, they are called mirror numbers, because if they are master or not depends on how clear is your glass. So how clear is your vision, then you are mirroring back, because yes, of course, they are a high connection with the divine, but if your connection in your vision is closed, there is no light that can come in. So the mirror will just go in just to reflect an image that is not pure and is not necessarily embodying what the divine light would be if you gave the opportunity to come through and channel the message, and simply receiving and tuning the inspiration that is coming from above, which is always a way to help you so that you can help others and find, of course, the way, the solution also from a practical point of view, because images are talking to us in the language that we know, so they are never abstract. Sometimes, yes, they can be quite cryptic, like the beginning, but that's the beauty of like going into a journey and trying to have an interpretation of the message. And they never tell us exactly this is what we mean, because it's us, it's part of our way, of our evolution, to try to be able to decode these images using our own way, our own language, so that then each time there is a similar image coming through, our way of understanding of what it means, what are the tools that they're sharing with us, and especially also understanding the time, because when there are synchronicities, we understand that the divine time is right, because there is never a way to understand when something is going to happen, because it depends upon, there is the interdependence. So these elements are interdependent on a variety of factors that are not just based on ourselves. So when the conditions around are ripe, are mature, and it's the right time for something to happen, either positive or either negative, it's just karmic, coming, of course, from karmic consequences from the past, but then from that moment onwards, we are creating whatever is coming afterwards. For future, then things are going to happen.